And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. Today is Wednesday, believe it or not, December the 17th. We're so close to Christmas. Hope you've got plans to be with loved ones this Christmas. If you can't make it there, too many miles, make sure to call. Doesn't take but a moment to do that. Real close, aren't we? My, oh my. It's so hard to believe that another year of our lives has flown by. And when I tell you, we're here just about every morning. We may take Christmas off usually, and it just flies by. Well, congratulations. We've grown a year older together. We'll be up in a moment and give you all your weather details and what's going on across America. What's shaping America that's going to affect you. We've got those stories coming up in just a little bit. Let's go out to Collinsville. Big effect here. I'm to church this week. Let's go out to Collinsville First Baptist.
Today we continue the third week of the Advent season with our focus on joy. Don't you just love the promises of God? In John 15, Jesus makes this extraordinary promise to his disciples. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you'll abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things I've spoken to you, that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be full. Now, I want you to notice what Jesus offers. Not just joy, but his joy. And not just partial joy, but full joy. This is unshakable joy that sustained Jesus through every trial. The joy that's rooted in the Father's perfect love. This is the quality and the quantity of joy that Jesus is offering us. But how do we receive it? Well, the Bible says here, by abiding in Christ's love through obedience. You see, obedience keeps us close to Jesus, the source of all of our joy. So, beloved, this is the gift of Christmas. The Word became flesh so we could abide in him and his joy could dwell in us permanently. The baby in the manger grew to be the Savior who invites us into that same love relationship that he shares with the Father, which leads to full joy. So this Advent, the world offers temporary pleasures, fleeting happiness, but Jesus offers something infinitely better, his own joy, full and lasting. So abide in his love, walk in obedience, and discover the complete joy that he promises. May you be blessed this Advent. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Church services tonight, if you can make it. If not, there's one near you. Hope you'll check that out. As we begin this, let me show you radar. We do have some showers in the northern part of the state, moving from Greenville up toward Tupelo this morning. You're going toward Jackson, Tennessee. Could be a shower or two. Heaviest of rain is going to be right here around Rolling Fork, Mississippi, Indianola, and as you get into Water Valley and all around Ole Miss, showers this morning, even up to Ripley and Corinth there around Iuka. Those places have showers. Light stuff if you're on 20 headed toward Monroe for any reason this morning around I-20 there. A few showers around Alexandria. That's a quick look at that. We'll get back to the forecast here in just a moment to keep you updated of all that is going on. As we start looking at headlines shaping America, I remember this as a kid when they would say those awful words, the president is going to make a speech tonight. Well, it meant you couldn't see anything else. Nowadays, well, it really doesn't matter. You've got choices and choices. You don't have to sit there. But it will happen tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, which makes it, if I'm not mistaken, 8 o'clock our time, Central Standard Time. So Donald J. Trump will address the nation tonight. We'll see what he has to say. Make plans for that. U.S. crude oil, this is good. Some are saying it's bad, but oil prices are down. Have y'all seen it? In areas across the Meridian area, it's down to $2.01 a gallon. Could we dare cross that below $2 line? Wouldn't that be wonderful? It's been a long time. We're used to paying $3 nearly a gallon. We're that close.
Almost.
Almost. Let's hope that does happen. That would be a miracle there. I don't know how you ever read a story and not know how you really feel about it because you hadn't really sunk it all in. Maybe it's because I see so much of marijuana on the streets, and well, I'm not a big fan of all of this, but it looks as though Trump will reclassify marijuana from a Class 1 drug to a Class 3 today. And again, I've got to let all this sink in. It's going to be able to do more testing as it drops to a level 3 is what they could do for it for medications. Again, I have no problem with medical marijuana. I have a problem with everybody claiming that it's medical and smoking joints all over town and smelling like skunks. And if it's in medical form or pill, I have no problem because it's helpful. I'm telling you the other, and that's just my opinion. There's a few that are going to disagree with me on that. Looters, lazy people that want to steal go to great lengths to take what is yours. And they're doing just that in Washington. They're using kayaks to loot homes. As you've seen all this flooding that they've had in Washington, kayaks to steal. Careful, careful. A kayak will flip over very easily, I'm told. And if you're a big old boy, you can't get out of it pretty quickly. Just letting you know that. This would be good for Mississippi if it were to happen because we've got such a big industry down on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Ingalls Shipyard. Y'all know where I'm talking about? Trump has made the statement that he wants to make shipbuilding great again in the U.S., meaning there's been a lack of. There has not been a lot of this. Our big two spurts in the last 100 years was during World War I and World War II. There hasn't been a lot of that done since then. Maybe it'll bring some more jobs to Mississippi should this happen. Be on the lookout. We'll keep you posted on that. As they say, and we wonder how'd we get this way? I don't know a lot about Montana. I know it's mostly the rural route because it's cold. Not a lot of people go there, but a judge has ruled on driver's license that it is legal to have non-binary driver's license. In Montana? Isn't that a cowboy state?
It used to be. Now it's a cowgirl state.
Yeah, maybe a cowgirl state now moving forward. But a judge ruled that. We'll see what becomes of that also. He leans very Democrat on the edge there. So that's what we've got from there. A news anchor that was in Birmingham. Y'all know where Hoover, Alabama is, don't you? It's right there at Birmingham. She was a very beautiful woman. Has been found deceased in her home along with her husband. The 3-year-old child is okay. They're suspecting a murder-suicide. Who did it? I don't know at this point. Police are investigating that beautiful woman. She had went on and she was teaching sports broadcasting, I think, at a local college or high school. High school, I think, is what it was. How sad that is. Yet we see this around the holidays so much where suicide is not a good thing, but you certainly shouldn't take someone with you just because you don't want to be here. My, oh my. University of Alabama. Not a lot of times that I say roll tide because, well, I'll stick with Mississippi State. We may lose, but, well, I still stick up for them. But we have to give a big roll tide. They have announced that they're going to have a Charlie Kirk scholarship at the University of Alabama. Roll tide. I support that. I'm glad for that and the students who will receive that in the future. What a role model that man was. Now, I read this, and I think it's important to understand afterwards why they've said this. There's a nickname for Tim Walz. He's the guy that was the vice presidential candidate with the cackling lady, Kamala Harris. Remember, she just couldn't help but laugh everywhere she went, and they changed that laugh to a cackle. And it was, if you watched it, hard for her to carry on a conversation without it. Tim Walz, who was her vice presidential running mate. I couldn't get it out, could I? He is also the governor of Minnesota presently. As we see headlines this morning saying that they want him to step down. Do you remember the scandal that was announced a few weeks ago? Well, they've uncovered a second scandal. And people within the White House and the Trump administration are saying he should step down. Do I think that will happen? Absolutely not. What was that old bumper sticker? You're proud from my cold dead. Yeah, he ain't turning loose the governor's mansion for nothing. But the education department has discovered nearly 2,000 Minnesota ghost students And when I say ghost students, they don't exist. They fraudulently received $12.5 million. That's a lot of money. I'm not picking on anybody else. I know Mississippi has had their problems there with $5 million in a volleyball court. Whoops. We'll see what becomes of this one. Still nothing happened in Mississippi over that, has it?
No.
And being honestly, it doesn't look like anything will. Who's investigating that? That's been 5 years too, hasn't it?
It's been a while.
I bet it's been. Lord, somebody needs to get back on that, don't we? Dan, I hear you. Bob went ahead and called old Tim by his nickname, just right out there, bluntly put it out there, typed it out. I couldn't say it out loud. I may think it, but I couldn't say it there.
Kind of like Tampa,
Bob.
Florida.
Yeah, Tampa, Florida. Yeah, I guess you could tie it into that nickname there. If you're visiting New York City, and New York City is not going to be the only place, but this is what they're saying about New York City right now. Flu cases are skyrocketing throughout the city. Wash your hands very good. If you cough, cover your mouth. It isn't nice to spread those germs, but we all know this. You can get within 10 feet of somebody and you're going to get a cold. It just happens. I catch them easily nowadays. Somebody go, and I have it within an hour, I think. Just be careful where you go. This is that time of year. And again, we're going to be back to 70 degrees by Christmas Day, by the weekend rather. That temperature seems to bring sickness with it, doesn't it? Sure does. Now, I have watched this. There are two different people that took part of this. The Bondi Beach massacre that happened. Odie and I, after the show yesterday, went back and watched the guy that overpowered one of the assailants, took the gun from him, took the weapon from the guy, and later he was in the hospital with a wound. There has been some more video footage released as it was unfolding. And Odie, I don't know if you even know about this one. A guy's going down the road, and his dash cam picks up somebody who's parked on the side of the road, and it's an elderly couple that managed to take a weapon away from one of the bad guys. And instead of using the weapon, he was using it as, I guess, like a stick. You want to know how that ended for him? Bad guy also had another weapon. Not telling you what to do. You fill in the blanks from there. That is just horrible. They were an elderly couple. He did his best to stop the guy, but just didn't handle the weapon properly. Bad guys rarely have just one weapon, is what I'm saying. Keep that in mind. And again, we'll let you fill in the blanks on that. Marco Rubio has spoken. He says he will not, in any shape, form, or way, run against JD Vance. Should JD run for president, he's just going to let that be. Odds are Marco would be his vice president, is what most people are speculating at this point. So we'll see where that goes there. Anybody take a guess? You know, Nancy is getting ready to retire from Congress. Anybody want to dare to guess what she's made since she's been in Congress off of stocks? I'm sure this was legal, wasn't it?
But a whole lot more than what her paycheck was.
She has made $130 million since being in Congress off her stocks. I can't prove anything. I'm just telling you what she made off of stocks while she was in office. Thought you might want to know that. Write that down. Scribble it somewhere. Do y'all remember John Bolton? Had that little mustache that looked like it was alive by itself. He was not a nice man, or he didn't seem to be. He really didn't like Trump. He's been indicted now on 18 federal felony counts. That's for having things on his computers and sending it to family members and other people that possibly was top secret. One of those things you need to know. We have had Marines honored with a ceremony at the White House. This is good. They were border agents. They've been awarded a defense medal. I believe it was 13 of those that received that. Congratulations to them. I don't know if y'all remember this or not, but let me see what state this is. This is across the pond, Liverpool. This was, I think, back in 23 is when this happened. I could be wrong on the year, but guy was walking down the edge of the road, and it was two people in a car that they ran over him. And the video emerged from that where they were laughing and cackling about it. They will spend the rest of their lives in prison over that. Sad, sad, sad. Have you ever... There's not many people, and I'm not good at it, when somebody throws something at you from out of nowhere, coming up with the right words to say. But this guy, I've watched him over and over, and no matter what it seems to be, he's level-headed, says it correctly. And JD Vance is what I'm talking about. Susie Wiles, do you know who I'm talking about? And I say that, not calling anyone... You have to watch the news to know this. She is Trump's chief of staff. She's the bulldog, so to speak, that keeps everybody away from Trump. She granted a rare interview with Vanity Fair. They walked around the White House with her. They took notes, and what we're saying, or what we're hearing, is they took what she said out of context. And it was several of them that she made comments about. JD Vance being one of them, where she was quoted as calling him a conspiracy theorist. And during a press conference yesterday, JD Vance was asked about that. And he goes, well, I guess she's right. He said, I am a conspiracy theorist when I'm right. He goes, I remember talking about masks. And he goes, guess what? I was right. They didn't stop COVID. And he was right on that. And he gave 2 to 3 examples of when he was right. He goes, do y'all remember when I criticized the news media about Joe Biden not being fit for office? And he goes, guess what? I was right. I was a conspiracy theorist. And he said, she and I often joke about my conspiracy theorist. It was quick. It was a great answer. That guy is good. He's got a level head on him and speaks with knowledge. Let's hope that he'll be a leader one day. I do think he will. And again, one of those, if you've never read the book, seen the stories, or read about it, rags to riches, from the worst of worst environment that you could be brought up into to the vice presidential seat. He could be president one day. I agree with this. When you go into a bank, and you may not know this, when you go into a bank or you go into a casino, in most places, you're scanned. They know who you are and if there's a warrant issued for you in any shape, form, or way. But it's somewhere, and this should have been done, I think, first of all, airports. A lot of them don't have this facial recognition. Orlando, looking at this, they've got 3 different companies there now doing that scanning. And it recognizes bad guys before they could load or get into an airplane. I don't have a problem with that. Here's where that other part of Scotty Ray goes, well, wait a minute. What if somebody were to get this and use this in the wrong way? We're not there. And I've said this many times, and I'll say it again as we go back to that J6, when they started looking for people across America. This will be used against Christians one day. Now, this is good at stopping bad guys, but I do think there will be a time to where facial recognition will be used to track down Christians. It's just a warning into the future. Do I have proof? Do I have all this in writing? I do not. That is my thoughts, and I thoroughly believe it wholeheartedly that will happen one day. I'll move on, but that's what I thought there. We brought up insurance several times, and my wife told me after I got home last night that I was wrong about what our insurance cost. It's more than I said yesterday, so I'll have to go back and get a quote on her. But I ran across a mother, small family. After taxes, her check is $2,600 a month. So, she makes fairly decent money. There's 5 members of her family. Her insurance is going to go to $1,700 a month for the family. Now, tell me where you can pay your light bill, you can buy food with health insurance like this. We have a problem with health insurance and the price. Now,
Health insurance was never this expensive before the Affordable Care Act.
Affordable Care Act brought a lot of this on. It sure did. There's no doubt about it. When I was born, you could actually, as a parent, I think, pay cash for what the pregnancy cost. The whole thing, you could probably make payments on it in a few months and have it paid for.
Yeah,
I don't think it was that much. I think I was in the hundreds of dollars when I was born. But times have changed. Everybody gets a bill for this, and they take advantage of insurance companies, don't get me wrong, because there's people without insurance. Illegals that use the system. Doctors are sued over and over, and their insurance is so expensive for them to stay in practice. We've got problems, and all of this needs to be addressed and put in to work this out to where people can live and eat and be a free American. This price thing is bad with this. I don't know the answer, I don't. But I understand a doctor's point of view. If you're a doctor watching me, y'all have no clue what their insurance costs them. Malpractice and this, that, and the other business. If somebody trips walking into their office, of what it costs them just to have the doors open. That drives the cost of everything. We've got, it goes back to the judges as well, am I not?
Oh, yeah.
I wish I had an answer. I don't. And apparently the Republicans don't have an answer because they don't have a solution, do they? Small thoughts. Elon Musk has shared a statement, and yet again, I have to agree with this, and then we'll go to weather. Elon shared this from a guy named Matt Von Swol, S-W-O-L. Everyone on the left discussing gun control refuses to consider that if we just locked up all violent criminals, the majority of violent crime would disappear overnight. Imagine that. Enforcing the laws that we already have. We'll be right back with your forecast.
On a hot day chasing crime in Meridian, to make a man thirsty, there's no better way than an ice-cold Coca-Cola to quench your thirst.
Or an ice-cold Diet Coke if you prefer that flavor.
No matter where you're at, stop by a local store and support that store and Meridian Coca-Cola. They're supporting us every day.
The Scotty Ray Report studio is sponsored by Environment Masters, providing hassle-free heating and cooling, plumbing, and electrical services since 19.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA.
Welcome back as we get into your record highs and record lows. 2016, it was 80 today. We're not going to be near that. We'll be in the 60s. Back in 63, it was a low of 16 this morning. Wow, oh wow. As we look at today's forecast, as we get into this, here's what's expected. And there's not going to be any rain in Meridian. There's slight chances as you get west of Philadelphia and Louisville, those areas there. And south of us looks great. The western side and northern side of Mississippi could see some light shower activity. All of that will change as we get into tonight. High of 63 today, 50s at the state line. Now, rain chances of 40% chance moving to the forecast tonight, as we'll see tonight's low at 49. The further south we go, eastern Clark County will see heavier rain than Lauderdale County, and the further south, by the time you get to Hattiesburg, it's going to be heavy rain from there to Gulfport. Over in Greenville, Mississippi Delta areas there, Clarksdale, the rain will move east of you overnight. But again, temperatures are going to stay right at 50, 49, 50, so we're good. As we, let's back up here. Tomorrow, Alabama rather here, 61 in Tuscaloosa today, 61 in Demopolis, and we'll see 60 in Birmingham. Auburn sees 61, almost identical to the Meridian area in Alabama as well with the weather. Nothing bad going on there. Warm weather approaches as Christmas Day gets near us. As we look at it, here's today, 63, 48 tonight. Now tomorrow is a must-have, your umbrella. 80% chance of stuff, and again, it rolls in tonight with a 40% chance, and by tomorrow, it's at 80% chance of the wet stuff. You're going to need those umbrellas. By Friday, we take just a dip there at 55 and then a high of 66 on Saturday. We're back to the 70s as we roll into Sunday at 71, and we're going to stay at that upper 70 degree, well, mid 70s, 70, 69, 70 for several days there as we head toward Christmas. Here's what we got planned for Santa Claus Christmas Eve. He'll roll into town with 71 degrees with a low of about 51 in that sleigh. Not bad at all, is it? Christmas Day, it's almost going to be the same. You'll be able to play some football and play with toys in the backyard. It will be a big day for a family get-together. 71 with a low of 52, and it will remain that way pretty much to New Year's as we look at this. We'll see 60 there with a 40% chance on New Year's Eve. Here it comes, the new year, 2026. Y'all believe that? Shocking. Here's what we got with our fishing forecast today. Major times to fish today will be right at 9 o'clock, about 10 till about 11 o'clock is major time to fish there. Brought to you by our friends at Parker Wholesale. They'll take care of all your fishing needs there as we see sunrise rolls in at 6:50. Another time this afternoon, about 1:53 to 3:53, you can go out and fish. Not bad at all. Let's look into that hunting. Anybody going deer hunting today? Well, it's going to be great weather for it. Calm wind becoming south around 5 miles an hour later this afternoon. And as you look at the day rating, it's gotten better. So it's ticking up. Good hunting. 8:54 is a major time till 11 o'clock today. Now, your minor time will be this afternoon, roughly 2:30 to 3:30 to be in the woods. Be there at 2, sit till dark, and you should be good. Sunrise 6:50, and again, sunset rolls in at 4:52. It got down to 4:50 at one point, so it's starting to climb back up at 4:52 there for sunset. Wow, oh wow. Let's look at current live radar of what we've got this morning before we get ready for the morning show. Again, we mentioned this earlier as we look at Knox Toyota radar. Rain in the Mississippi Delta stretching from Greenville all the way to Iuka, Mississippi there, Corinth. We've got showers there as you move into Tennessee, just east of Jackson, Tennessee, south of Lexington, making its way across there. Nothing big going on in the central or southern portion of Mississippi. Back to our west, we show light showers around Monroe, Alexandria, Louisiana, down to Lake Charles, Louisiana. If you're going to be traveling there across on 10, be careful. It's wet coming into Beaumont. That horrific traffic. Oh, it's awful. It gets even worse the further west you go as you enter Houston. They're going to be wet today. Watch it around Galveston as well. Lots of rain. Look at this. This is what's probably going to come visit you later tonight and tomorrow as that 80% chance rolls into our forecast. That's what we got. Already 6:57. Get that coffee ready. Get some biscuits and some eggs. We'll be back in about 3 minutes live with the morning show. Won't you join us? Please do so. We look forward to it. Odie's in the house. He don't have his Christmas hat on, but he's ready. We'll see you in just a moment.